Hello, Sunnyside community. We're nearing the end of our traditional summer break and are just 1.5 weeks away from the first day of school, which begins Wednesday, August 5th. The last 4 months have been such a whirlwind for families, staff, and our community in general. This pandemic has presented situations that we never thought we would be dealing with 20 years into this millennium. That said, I am proud how the Sunnyside community has stepped up to serve our students and families during this difficult time, and I am confident and certain that we will continue to provide students with a high-quality education moving forward. By now you know that we will be starting school on August 5th through remote learning, which means school will be completely online. At some point, when it is safe to do so, we will return to in-person learning. Although I want nothing more than to open our schools, we will not place our students or staff in jeopardy. Any date that is set for in-person learning must be based on health data that supports our ability to bring people in safely and not based on politics. When an actual return date is set, I want families to know that if they are uneasy about sending their students back to school in person, an online learning option will remain in place for the duration of the school year. Families, it is extremely important that you complete the registration for each of your children if you haven't already done so. Principals and front office staff are all back at their sites and are ready to assist you if needed. Please be sure to contact your student's school directly if you have any questions or need help with the registration process. I am proud to say that when schools were closed last March, the Sunnyside School District moved quickly to put in place learning opportunities that would prevent students from falling further behind. Our investment in technology, online content, and technology training over the last 10 years, thanks to a community-supported bond, allowed us to ensure a seamless transition from what was happening in the classrooms to learning from home. Although not everything was perfect, the majority of parents that we surveyed were pleased with our efforts. Throughout the school closures and into the summer, we have collaborated with teams of teachers, curriculum specialists, and administrators to work on a plan to make sure that if we started the school year online again, we will be prepared not to offer just educational opportunities, but that we will be prepared to offer the equivalent of what students would be receiving during in-person instruction. I can confidently say that we are ready to bring consistency to your child's learning during this time. One of the key components to our remote learning plan for this year is that the curriculum that we will be using online is the same high-quality curriculum our district has been using in our classrooms. In other words, we're not just purchasing new programs or apps that students will log on to for games and our interventions. We are continuing our grade-level learning standards using a curriculum that we know is both highly rated with teachers who are already familiar with the materials. Our teachers work diligently during the summer to adapt the materials for accessibility in this situation. I now want to walk you through what a classroom will look like for our students as we begin this online journey. First off, unlike when we initially closed schools, every student will be required to log on to their teacher's classroom 3 times a day. For elementary schools, this login time will be with the same teacher unless you're at the 6th grade level where you have different teachers teaching different content areas. With middle and high school, logins will be based on the individual student's normal period schedules over the course of 2 days. For example, you would have periods 1, 3, and 5 on one day and periods 2, 4, and 6 on the other day. More specifics on this required login schedules will be sent to you by your student's principal. Every teacher will create a Google Classroom for students to access their curriculum and assignments. Here is a sample of what a classroom would look like. Students of all ages will be able to navigate through the technology because we have created age-appropriate infrastructures. Next week, we'll be sharing more resources for students and parents that will help you become familiar with the technology so that you can begin to work with your students to prepare them for this online learning environment. In this classroom, you will see links to the curriculum lessons, links to assignments, and links to other information that is important for families or for students. All teachers will be using Google Meets as a consistent meeting format and will use multiple tools that teachers have and or receive training with to make this learning process interactive so that students will have time for questions, feedback, and collaboration. If you're wondering about art, music, library services, or PE at the elementary school, I'm excited to share that the teachers who lead these classrooms will also be trained to use the technology and will be part of the students' weekly schedule virtually. As parents, we are all worried that the conditions for learning in this setting are not ideal for all students. However, as a professional educator and a parent, I see a unique opportunity ahead. You see, one of the core principles of our vision for learning is that our students have agency. Agency is that students have and gain the independence to make meaning of their process for thinking and learning, so that they will have the skills to learn on their own. I believe that our students will be better prepared for this independence through this remote learning experience, and that this skill set will transfer to being better students when we return to in-person school. We have this opportunity to help our students develop the skills necessary to take charge of their own learning, a skill that will benefit them throughout their entire lifetime. If there is anything we learned for certain during this closure, is that our students are capable of navigating this online learning environment more than we thought. I trust that you can join us in embracing this situation as one of great hope and not one of apprehension. As John Lennon said during a previously trying time in our nation, what we've got to do is keep hope alive, because without it, we will sink. Please be well, and I look forward to our start on August 5th.